Okay, now let's go over some word problems that involve ratios. So in this example, Diana and John are making three cheese lasagna. The recipe calls for 100 grams of Romano, 300 grams of mozzarella, and 250 grams of cottage cheese. So I'm simply going to make some acronyms here. Let's let R be Romano. Let's let M be mozzarella. And let's let C be cottage cheese here. So for A, write a ratio in lowest terms to compare the three cheeses. So once again, I have Romano, mozzarella, and then cottage cheese here. And I'm starting out with 100 grams here of Romano, 300 grams of mozzarella, and then 250 grams of cottage cheese. Now, to get these in lowest terms, let's try to divide these by numbers that are divisible in each of them. So in this case, I'm seeing that I can divide each of them by um, 50, it looks like. So let's try that instead. I'm going to divide 100 by 50. I'm going to divide 300 by 50. And I'm going to divide 250 by 50. Let's see what I get here. 100 divided by 50 is 2. 300 divided by 50 is 6. And then 250 divided by 50 is 5. Now, looking at these numbers here, although 6 is not a prime number, it's a composite number, 2 and 5 are prime numbers. So that means this is my ratio in lowest terms right here. So I'm simply finished now. Now when I look at B, it asks me, what amount of Romano and cottage cheese do you need to make lasagna that contains 900 grams of mozzarella cheese? So once again, for this question, we realize that Romano to mozzarella to cottage cheese, we know the initial amounts. So the initial amounts were 100 to 300 to 250. And now it asks me how much Romano and cottage cheese I need to make a lasagna if it contains 900 grams of mozzarella. Well, I simply know that I have 900 mozzarella here. I'm going to let this be an unknown and let this side be an unknown as well. So now let's ask myself this question. How do I get from 300 to 900? In this case, it would be simply times 3. So if I multiplied 300 by 3 to get to 900, I would simply do the same for 250. And for 100, I would multiply everything by 3. So in this case, 100 times 3 is going to be 300. And 250 times 3 is going to be 750. So to answer their question, what amounts do I need? Well, I would need 300 grams of Romano, and I would need 750 grams of cottage cheese to satisfy my lasagna that has 900 grams of mozzarella cheese. Okay, now let's look at another example. Here I have $465 split amongst four brothers in the ratio of 3 to 2 to 6 to 4. And my question is, how much does the fourth brother get? So before I start, I'm just going to define some things. I'm going to let brother number 1 be equal to B1. I'm going to let brother number 2 be equal to B2. I'm going to let brother number 3 be equal to B3. And I'm finally going to let brother number 4 be equal to B4. Okay? So right now, in that ratio, I essentially have brother 1 to brother 2 to brother 3 to brother 4. And this will be 3 to 2 to 6 to 4. And what I want to do is I want to multiply each of these numbers by the same number such that I can get it to become 4 new unknowns. Okay? 4 new unknowns. And these 4 unknowns, if I add them together, they simply are going to equal to 465. So the best way to find this answer is simply to do this. In my current ratio that I have, 3 to 2, 6 to 4, I simply want to add them all together to get a total. So in this case, 3 plus 2 plus 6 plus 4 should equal to 15. So I get a total of 15 so far. Now, I pretty much ask myself this: how do I get from 15 to 465? Well, to find out that answer, I can simply do 465 divided by 15. And the answer I'm going to get is actually 31. So that means I have to take 15 and multiply it by 31 to get to my answer of 465. But now that I found that, that means I can simply now multiply every ratio I have here by 31 to get to my final answer. So if I multiply by 31, which number? Well, 3 times 31 is going to be 93. 2 times 31 is going to be 62. 6 times 31 is going to be 186. And 4 times 31 is going to be 124. So to answer my question, how much does the fourth brother get if I'm splitting all of this money of 465 between four brothers? Well, that means brother 4 is going to get $124. Okay, another example. If there were 480 students in your school and the ratio of male to female is 9 to 7, how many females are there in your school? So to answer this question here, I'm simply going to write male to female, okay? Now I know this is 9 to 7, and I know that I can multiply 9 and 7 by the same number to get it to new unknowns, but these new unknowns, they add up together to get 480. So in this case, to find it, we do the same thing. I want to find my total here. 9 plus 7 is going to be equal to 16, right? So now, how do I get from 16 to 480? So we have to ask ourselves that question right there. Well, to know that, we simply do 480 divided by 16. And 480 divided by 16 is going to be equal to 30. So now I know I have to multiply 16 by 30 to get it to become 480. So I can simply multiply my 9 by 30 and my 7 by 30 to get the total number of male students and total number of female students when the total number of students is 480. So in this case, 9 times 30 is going to be 270, and 7 times 30 is going to be 210. So to answer their question, how many females are there in your school? There would be 210 females. And if you want to check if this answer is right, just check. It does 270 plus 210 equal to 480? Yes. So that's how you know you've done your ratio correctly and you got the correct answer of 210 female students.